Okay, so I thought I'd give you guys a bit of a rundown on the Impossible Fab catch can that we've got here. To a lot of you guys, it's going to look like it's just a tin with some hoses going to it. It's far more extensive than that. This is in fact triple baffled. It has got oil separators, comes with all the hoses and the fittings. Best of all, these guys have really thought it through in the way that it's got a drain plug, but it's also got an overflow tube on it. So should you neglect it and your catch can fills up, it's not going to be sucked back into the intake system. It is going to overflow through this drain hose. So these guys really have thought of everything. I pulled the front bar off, spoke to the guys in Impossible Fab. They informed me you didn't need to do it. You can get to it by popping the wheel off and removing the guard liner. I've done it just simply so you've got a better view for the video. The catch can mounts on the left-hand side of the car, behind the bar. So what I'm going to do is show you where all that lines up and fit it up. So what you can see, comes in two pieces. It's got a bracket that bolts to the chassis of the car. It picks up these two bolts here. Pretty easy to identify. There's two earths on them. So we'll take those out. That bracket's going to mount in place there. And then the catch can itself is going to slide onto the bracket with the hoses running up underneath the airbox, up to the rocker cover and to the intake. So the catch can's fitted with 3 hoses. Conveniently, the guys up at Impossible Fab have labelled where each of them go. They're basically going to run up the inner guard underneath the airbox. Catch can's going to sit in place, and from there we can run the hoses across the engine to the appropriate points on the engine itself. Did you get a good enough view of that?
Yeah, man.
So, fitted up the mounting bracket for the catch can. A few things I do want to stress, it does pick up 2 bolts that have earth tabs going to them. So I've left the earths on the inside of the bracket so that they get the best contact with the chassis of the vehicle. That's very important. These earths tend to run things like lights, even some of the ignition side of stuff. So definitely leave them in their place, but it's very straightforward. The bolts lined up, no dramas. From here we can fit the catch can. Tightening up the 2 bolts that hold the catch can in place. The brackets themselves are slotted, so you basically just have to bring the bolts out of touch, slide the catch can into place, and then lock up the bolts to hold it in place. This is really well designed. It's very, very simple to fit. With the bar off, this is a 10-minute modification and a very important and good upgrade as well. The hoses themselves come up through the inner guard. I'll pull the airbox out as well just to make things a little bit easier. All of them are marked, so they're basically going to go to the PCV, the rocker cover breather, and then return to the intake. So each hose goes to its own place. Very straightforward, like I've been saying the whole time. Catch can's done. It was super easy. Everything bolted up exactly as it should. The hoses were cut to the exact length they needed to be. A couple of cool features about it. It fits under the standard airbox. It'll also fit under any aftermarket intake you've got. But the thing that I'm really impressed about, the way that you run the hoses, the way I've been shown, the standard cover goes back on. It doesn't crimp any of the hoses. Like I said, it's a very comprehensive kit, super easy to install, and I highly recommend it. Pop the caliper off on the end behind me. We're going to fit up these Intima brake pads, which have been supplied to us by N Garage. So one of the big benefits are they do provide slightly more bite, but there's a lot of complaints with the N series pads that they are just super dusty. I can back that up. You really do need to clean your wheel every couple of days. These are a minimum brake dust pad, so not only more advantageous with the braking capability, but also the low dust is also a benefit too. Sure there's nothing else to get out. Cool, we've received an AFE cold air intake system. It just arrived. We've had plenty of experience with the AFE product, using it plenty of times on our Stingers. Really looking forward to fitting this one up, getting some good results out of it on the dyno. So the AFE system comes with a cold air intake box such as this. It's probably one of the better ones out, simply because it picks up the factory intake, which does match to the Velocitec intake that we also use on our i30. It's got a reverse cone air filter, as well as plastic intake piping, starting off at the 4-inch, tapering down to 3. We do prefer to use the plastic intake system simply because they do have less heat soak and they also disperse the heat more efficiently. So like I was saying, we'll be good to get it on and get it tested. All right, go. differences between the AFE intake and the standard intake. Obviously the first one you're going to see is simply the volume of the airbox itself, the AFE one being a lot larger, as well as using a larger diameter filter. Stepping up from that, we go to the intake pipe, where the air filter side of it has gone from a 3.5 inch to a 4 inch, and the intake to the turbo has gone from 2.5 to 3 inch. They give you a silicon adapter for that. So very easy to fit, matter of 3 bolts and a couple of hose clamps, so very comprehensive, easy kit. Fitting an aftermarket heavy-duty clutch to our i30n, there's a little bit involved in this. It means we have to drop the K-frame, separate the steering rack and the electronic LSD along with several other components, as well as remove the gearbox, obviously. Now, once I had it out, I weighed the standard clutch up against the aftermarket clutch. The aftermarket was 4.2 kilograms lighter, which on the grand scheme of things is actually a really big improvement. Also the friction plate, the clutch plate itself had a lot more surface area, a lot more contact, so we're hoping to see some better clamping and less slip from this one. Thanks for watching episode 4 of the i30n build, guys. Join us for episode 5. We'll be talking about the Dynomotive rear muffler that we've fabricated for the i30n, as well as the 4-inch dump pipe up the front.